Cái đâu à? Một cùng đó. Đó là một bao một cùng nó cùng hầu như tổ trong sập hồ đấy. Ô sẽ đến nhà bác cơ đâu. Cái bây giờ này nó là bây chẳng có tổ hậu ta làm mong muốn à, tôi coi chừng cho bây là do không nào hầu như đó không nào, bây nó sẽ nó bây mà mình gì ta là dịu gì nó. Một cái rồi chủ một công ty rồi. Đi tới cà phê à? Nó tên là chơi gió trò thế này, là chơi gió chỉ chơi giống mò thế này, không nào không hồn tàu. Tôi coi chừng mùi gió chụp con đàn. Ôi cho nó là ô liệt đường bây giờ tàu hoàng canh chê công ty khai thế cho nó do phật cổ. Yeah. Ok cái cho sao ra là ok.
Cái cho sao ra. Cho nó cách tu tự do.
Trong này chụp phong dư. Lúc nào giờ nó Friday. Tôi có tới tôi時間到開真的呢，開真的嘛就包的像個別人，但只能多種個。để tôi tên có một khi nó thế thì mà chỉ phố đẹp bồi ở cái tôi cho đi là nè cái này trong hàng ngày phố đẹp bồi ở tôi tên có đã nó mà chưa sử dụng công cái tiền rồi một trà chua có tiền pe mà pe thì còn tiền khởi động câu nó thì rong câu này chỉ pe hay là còn pe nên lúc không mua mà đi cho cá là nè
We go on the boat.
Lovely. Oh, I see. And then they sit up front. Look at there. Where do you want to sit? Oh, up top somewhere.
Yellow. Các bài kia sẽ là rất khi với lại
I'm surprised my knee is not just going bananas.
ở trong
chế này biết là gì các mà cho biết mình đi
啊，你这么就是是个你专门的不是不不，那里啊那里就地个不地，很少了，毛地了那这个就是这是的，本到不红的哈，寂寞寂寞的哈，
那个芝麻是台那边，
只要没红崩的也很多嘛，
没给冰嘞，
这里啊，我这玻璃崩几多了。不饱，这样不熟，跟样三熟了，跟样三好。
那是
包括这不是这是大家好点，你落地啊，这啊，这个还有呢。哦，也不就是讲。
那是到了早了在，来有人有好多样子。
我是那走的家。
It says 3 seniors. I'm not going to say 3 old ladies. I tell you, get you into trouble.
Okay, the facility adheres to the rules and regulations of the Homeland Security Act. All passengers are
Ok, cho phu gì nó tôi có cho bây giờ chén gò nhau tôi có chè tê và Minnesota ra và Wisconsin. Bố thì ông một rôn chén này, trà rê trà chua ra, đây là mà trà rê trà chua mà bé hay được dùng câu.
Tôi coi nha.
Gì? Tôi cũng phải chờ quả nữa.
Nhưng mà cái nó chỉ tao phải.
Quả nữa.
Nó chỉ tao phải rồi.
Chỉ tao.
Có chồng muốn này phải mà. Tại vì nó bây giờ nó cái chân
Today này today ở mua trái và tin này bông này này. Bây giờ sẽ rong đi chả. Today này giờ tôi đi chạy trên từ Oluson, sang Wisconsin, then sang Minnesota. Sách thì nó giờ Sam một đầu Wisconsin, Wisconsin là một trà nữa tụi đây nằm ở trà đây to cái này, giờ thầu thì đây là bông số nó thì chỉ trâu chỉ bông hỏi đây là trâu bao đây cửa ra này, giờ trâu hỏi đây là cửa to thế. Tụi đây nằm mà today nó màu giờ mong có thêm một tổ nó giờ vô nhau bữa sầu cho cha sầu đi qua bên mong giờ hai đứa nó mà cùi ấy khâu chỉ cho dùng giờ nó bị chưa sao thì nó chỉ Minnesota. Cho tin là cô chị ấy một chỗ chị tên coi chị nhớ sổ cho bố rê sổ nó nổi ra nhớ sổ cho bố rê sổ nó nổi ra tụi nó giờ tụi nhớ trong thì chị tê tin là tôi sổ tin là phương bông chị tụi đây nó nè.
St. Croix Riverway. The depths in that corner have been measured in excess of 100 feet deep. Now this corner here was also quite a problem for the loggers. It was the site of many large log jams. The world's largest taking place right here in Taylor's Falls in 1886. If you can imagine lumber stacked as high as the corner rock off to the front right of the boat, known as Angle Rock. That's over 50 feet high and then backed upstream solid for over 7 miles. It took several weeks, several hundred men Teams of horses, log rafts, and finally dynamite was used to blow this log jam free. It was estimated to be enough lumber in that single jam to build approximately 20,000 three-bedroom homes. Now I must caution those of you in front of the pilot house, I do need to blow that horn one more time for the corner. Come about 8 feet off the water's edge, you'll see a steel ring. There'll be another one of these steel rings on the flat of the rock as we go around the corner, about even with the railing on the upper deck. There's 4 of these steel rings embedded into the corner rock itself, all together or corroded in the past 150 years. If you were to hit them with a rock or a hammer, they chime much like a bell. We still use several of these steel rings and hooks today to tie up an advertisement chiseled into the rock just beneath it. What's unique about that advertisement is it was done so long ago, the company only left a 4-digit telephone number if you'd like to get a hold of them today. If you want a closer look at one of these steel rings, we do use one of them down at the snack bar for a paperweight for the napkins.
It's a good day to enjoy the weather.
Now back before the two towns of Taylor's Falls and St. Croix Falls were settled, the Sioux and the Chippewa Indian tribes were very prevalent here in this area. In later years came the early French explorers, then the French fur traders. It took the Treaty of 1838 being signed down at Fort Snelling to open this area up to the loggers. Behind us on the Wisconsin side of the bow, that's where the captain and first mate went and surveyed those large rapids you saw underneath the Highway 8 bridge of today. They realized they couldn't get the Palmyra any further up, so they actually backed the boat down out of the corner and tying it up where you see the Taylor's Falls Queen tied up to. This to the loggers. They also brought Swedish immigrants here to the area. These Swedish immigrants came because it reminded them much of their homelands. Everything from the color of the water to the length of the growing season to the vegetation itself reminded them much of their homelands. Now coming up next is going to be the most significant rock formation on our trip today. It is the large stone cross for which the St. Croix River received its name from the French explorer Daniel Duluth in the year 1679. Now you're going to have to follow along because I'm having a little issue with the wind today, so it's going to want to push us down away and not keep the angle up. But if you pay attention, I'm sure you'll be able to see the cross. Now if you go downstream in front of the boat to the left-hand Wisconsin cliff line, beyond the large bay, you got to go way beyond the large bay. Once you get past that large bay, you're starting to look for the tallest bare vertical cliff with very little vegetation on it. Right now it is directly in front of the boat. I will keep rotating around so everyone gets a view of it, but it is directly in front of us now. You go to that, there's a very straight pine tree growing right out of the top of the cross itself. It's a 3D shaped cross formed by, it's a 3D shaped cross very similar to a red cross pin if you were to take it and then turn it sideways. As I said, this is where the St. Croix River received its name from the French explorer Daniel Duluth in the year 1679. Now the story goes that Father Hennepin and Daniel Duluth, the year prior to this, had mounted an expedition leaving New Orleans. They were looking for a north-south passage between Lake Superior and the Gulf of Mexico, hopefully all by water. They paddled upstream on the Mississippi, making it all the way up to where Itasca State Park is located up today. When they got a Native American guide, this Native American guide had a paddle upstream on the Brule River, which flows north into Lake Superior. They made a small left of the bow of the boat now. I have been accused of having a very overactive imagination, though, here at the boat company. They tell me after 38 years here on the river, I'm the same. But if you've got an older quarter, take it out, see how close I am. Just off to the left of the pilot house in the bow of the boat here. That large notch which forms the bottom of the cross will become his chin. The left or upstream cross arm turns into his nose. There's a slit for the eye. The right or downstream cross arm becomes tufts of hair, much like the wigs they used to wear during that time period. and actually see his neck with his Adam's apple heading down towards the water's edge. It is a rather large stone face of George Washington. He's taking up the entire cliff line there. He's looking back upstream, just off the stern of the boat now. Went up to the top of the hill and set off that charge of dynamite. Not only did he manage to blow out over 250 windows out of the homes of the people that he invited down to his party out that day, but he dammed this riverway up completely. He sent large chunks of sandstone clear across the Wisconsin shoreline, completely damming up the riverway here. Now, as you can imagine, the next morning the Army Corps of Engineers arrived here on the scene, and they were very quick to point out to that contractor that they have little to no sense of humor about damming up a riverway, and they made him dredge this river out at his own expense. This cost him over $50,000 during the height of the Great Depression. To help reduce the cost, he left and actually added to the one small island he had formed and appropriately named it Blast Island. Now, only being that his secretary had simply misplaced a decimal point. Instead of ordering 2 tons of dynamite, like he says his notes had specified, she had accidentally ordered 20 tons of dynamite. Obviously, the error was found out too late, and that large island was formed. Now, there's a legend that goes along with this story, a legend that I want at the base of it. Now, if you look off to the front right of the boat there, you'll see 2 green buoys. Just to the south side of those 2 green buoys is what we call the gravel bar. It's what's left over from Blast Island that we had talked about. You didn't clean it out very well. You see the main channel that goes across there is about 40 feet wide, and today is ranging somewhere between 12 to 15 inches in depth. As I said, this boat fully loaded carries 17 inches, although we're not quite there.
他好念一点，
地着看，
用下来啊，好点，不像不用盖住那里呢，你还是来，你们给好了。
cho nó đã chỉ đến địa là chỉ là lấy cho khá là một tàu là nó chạy đi to mà là cũng một đầu rồi còn đâu thế thế sẽ có nó đã giờ đi hoa thầu nó chạy đi to là một mà một chỉ hoa xây hạ thì hoa đừng nó chạy đi khi nào chỉ là lấy cho khá là một chỉ là nó là thế cái thì nó bây giờ thì cái thì nó bây giờ thì hoa xã Minnesota. So bad. Nó để khả năng đặc khác này, nhiều tên khả năng đặc khác. Cái phải luôn.
Tại sao nó không có nữa? Isaiah, Wisconsin. Isaiah, St. Paul.
Thì cho cái tổ nào?
Tôi còn cho ít tổ mà tôi đi về rồi nó đấy.
Còn đang cái tổ phải chơi rồi.
Tôi tên nó vui chả.
Để St. Paul.
Đi St. Paul.
St. Paul. St. Paul.
Tại nó chạy luôn con nhau nó nhà St. Paul nữa. Chị tê St. Paul tê Wisconsin.
Chị St. Paul Minnesota, chị Wisconsin. St. Paul mới lúc cho lỏ.
Minnesota. Minnesota tê Wisconsin. Tại St. Paul thì lúc tây đi.
Alo na ya alo tôi lúc đó Yeah.
大概用这个呢，用这个不浪呢。
Ô, ta nói chỉ bé ở là nhớ đồ sang học cá nó lại bỏ dây cái này.
我这个，
Cô ta mà bây giờ sang số,
对了，
bây giờ sang số mà bỏ dây dây
那
ra.
不让对呢，
Nó lâu rồi ta phải chơi nó số nó nổi ra này.
这个从来不熟了。
Yeah.
哦，这个从来不能家都土对那边，土对呢，这个多崩在土这个呢。
Ô, chỗ đây lo hay bung con nó là mua dùng gì nè, mua chỉ dùng gì rồi,
崩到土这个哪里呢？
lấy lưu
我这还能什么？
dùng rồi cái tiền nó này,
要一个土嘛都不能它这边有，
có bữa trên đó là,
对吧？它这个。
rồi đây về cho bung đây sửa lo ha.
We're coming up next to some of our favorite rock
I
formations
choose
here.
only-
Go off to the right hand Wisconsin cliff line here. Follow that cliff line. Quite a large stone outline core is here. That's the elephant's head there in the tallest point of rock before the bay. You count back 3 points, still can see the lion's head just off to the right of the pilot house here. Now if you saw the lion's head and the elephant's head,
老太下来。
呀，
just above the rusty colored lichen. You look back around this corner with 4 whirlpools. These whirlpools would pick up large stone salt grinders and drill the deep holes into the hard rock basalt, some of them being 20 feet wide and over 60 feet deep. Well worth
Cái
your
tiền nó
time.
có dùng rồi nó chạy cơ tiền hả? Tiền nó mà dùng rồi nó chạy ta lên là bung bung à, dùng rồi cơ đó.
You need to blow the horn one more time for the corner.
Thầu cái thầu yếu mà nó.
Now this massive corner rock here is known as Angle Rock once again. As we go around Angle Rock, you can see the average high water mark for the springtime of the year. That's being marked by the bottom of the green colored lichen here. That average high water mark is early
Yeah.
April.
Yeah.
Now as we go around Angle Rock,
Khi
you look
đưa cửa theo
outside edge,
cái tuần nâng nha.
we feel these 3 points turn into the witch's cave. It's going to be flat all in green, just starting to come into view now. The top is her bonnet, the second her nose, and the third her chin. The best of them all, it is the world
Tôi
famous
tôi mà tí
Old
mua
Man
chơi
Dell.
tôi camping tí
If
à.
you look in front of the boat, high up on the right hand Wisconsin cliff line, almost directly in front of us
Đền
there,
Chúa hả?
you should be able to see him. The
Mua
top of
bông
the
khoa
cliff
bông
is the
mùa này,
top of
bông
his
lư.
head. You'll see his bushy eyebrows, the nose, the mouth, the well-defined chin. He was written up in the book, Ripley's Believe It or Not, and said to be the best, perfectly formed, all natural stone face in the world.
Yeah.
That's
Mua
the
được
old
cái lọp
man
đấy.
Dell. We think he looks a lot like George Washington without his false teeth here at the boat company, but then whoever wrote this speech many years ago, they liked old George. Now if you've come to the 2 towns of Taylor's Falls and St. Croix Falls,
Yeah.
actually looking for the falls, well, you need not look
Yeah.
any further. There are no falls here in the 2 towns. They were covered up back in 1900 when NSP, now XL Energy, built their hydroelectric dam.
Cái gì đó chứ à? Cái gì thì không số rồi.
Yeah, look.
Cái lô cái bỏ cái lô.
Yeah.
Rồi nó kiếm cái số.
Được kia rồi lắm rồi. Đưa yeah.
Cái Ôi, nó kiếm số lơ.
Có thể lên
Biết tí nào chỉ chỉ đã kiếm số rồi.
lên
Cái
tất
số
cả.
là cái phần đó là nó nó đấy.
Yeah.
Có nó tiêu.
Được kia đưa hả?
这打到这不是我给你。
Cá lẻ lô.
Ê tôi tưởng con cây số lò này.
Cá. Phải nó. Phải nó.